Hello again and Start Trends. Do you know this week is Disability Week or Mental Health Week? How do you treat people with mental health or people with disability in your communities, in your houses, in your offices? How do you treat them? Do you know they were able before the disability? Let's watch this.
World Mental Health Day on the theme Mental Health is a Universal Human Right. We are asking all Ghanaians, including us, to reflect on persons in our lives who are challenged in one way or the other, particularly in mental health. How do we treat them? Because their human rights is guaranteed in the 1992 Constitution and the Mental Health Act. When you even go international, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability. All these legal instruments have guaranteed their right to life, their right to education, right to quality health care, right to accommodation, the right to family, right to work, and right to be independent and control their own affairs. And so today, we are calling on everybody. We all have a role to play, from the family, brothers and sisters at home, the parents, to the small unit in the community, opinion leaders, chiefs, our preachers, the pastors, the reverend fathers, the regional capital, all the people who matter, the ministers, the politicians, the government, opinion leaders, civil society organizations. We all have a role to play. I've already mentioned their rights as enshrined in Chapter 5 of the 1992 Constitution. How do we see them? Because when you study these legal documents, you realize that they were human first before encountering a disability. I believe you heard a story of a woman whose daughter got knocked down by a vehicle in the program. She went to pick her results, and this young lady has a lot of aspirations, a lot of dreams that she's pursuing. Does it mean that's the end of her? Definitely no. And so we think that these people in our communities should be given the support, the love and respect so that they are confident in moving about their activities, because they also have a role to play. You heard in the films that were screened about the band. Some of them have their own trade supporting their communities. Today, Mental Health Authority is telling Ghanaians that we are moving treatment for persons with mental disorder into the communities. This is a way of reducing stigma, because I believe that when we wake up every morning and we see our brother or sister going to work and coming, receiving care at the lowest level of health care, that is the chief's compound, the clinic or the district health directorate or the district hospital, we see them as one of us. But when people are bundled and thrown into the facilities, that's institutionalization. We mark them with a certain name, the person who has mental illness, and we don't call their name again. We point them out, we look at them in a way that is demeaning of a human. So today we are calling on everybody to reflect on the theme that anyone with disability, particularly mental health disorder, is just you or I. We need to wake up. We have treated them, neglected them for a long time now, and this has led to a lot of people committing suicide, because when they feel rejected, the option is to either go into hard drugs or take their life. So please, this is our message today, that we all have a role, and from today we want to see a change in the way we approach them, in the way we refer to them, our engagements with them. Let us show them love.
One of the passengers coming into the bus is a woman with a baby and holding the luggage. So she immediately And because she can't get a seat in the bus, she dumps her luggage, the one on her head, on the lap of the visually impaired woman. Then the other people within sitting next to her quickly shout, "Don't you know she's blind? Don't you know she's blind?" And then the woman quickly collects the luggage away from her. The question to ask is, if I am blind, I cannot hold somebody's luggage. If I'm blind, can't I hold somebody's luggage? So the people around think that they are helping the blind person by telling the other woman not to allow her to hold it. But that, it's not right. If I'm blind, I can hold somebody's luggage whilst the person struggles to get a seat. You get my point? So sometimes people promote stigma because they don't know. They think that they are helping, but rather they are not helping. And so civil society organizations have a big responsibility to educate the public. Misconceptions is a very big problem which feeds stigma. And therefore, we need to educate the public about some of the misconceptions about persons with disability. That is very important. I think that is the role that civil society organizations can play. They can use the radio, they can use traditional authorities, they can use all the other means to educate the public so that we can reduce stigma.
We all have to get involved to advocate strongly and effectively against negative narratives about persons with mental health and persons with disabilities in our communities. Because the community have a mindset that these people cannot do anything. They are good for nothing. There are so many names, derogatory comments, derogatory languages using against them. How do we deal with this kind of comments, discouraging ones, undermining human dignity? Civil society organizations, individuals will have to come together. It's a responsibility, it's a collective responsibility. So that we all go out there, educate the public, sensitize the public. In fact, sometimes we have to apply the law in court because we have a Disability Act. The law is not there for nothing. So apart from the sensitizations, apart from the awareness creation, apart from appealing to other people, apart from the advocacy work we do, the other thing we can also do is the law, applying the law. Because sometimes you go, it is your right for something, but you are being denied because on the grounds that you have a mental health condition, because on the grounds that you have a disability. And that undermines your dignity as a human being. So we will appeal and encourage organizations, individuals, development partners, etc., etc. So we all come together. We don't leave the fight for persons with disability alone to fight. Let us do it collectively so that we support them and educate the general public so that they come to terms and appreciate the fact that we are all human beings like any other person. So one interesting thing is that people think disability is somebody's lot. It's not mine. It's not about me. It's about A, it's about B, but it's also about you. It's about all of us. So collectively, let's work together. If you do that, then we will develop the nation.
It is important that duty bearers or healthcare professionals also understand the needs of persons with hearing impairment. Hearing impairment, their major challenge is communication, language barrier. And so if I'm going to help you and I cannot understand your language, how do I help you? And so it is important for healthcare professionals to understand that there is a need for them to be able to communicate with deaf people. And how can they communicate with deaf people? There are several ways. First, they can learn. Maybe the institutions, the healthcare training institutions, they can start teaching the nurses and the healthcare professionals sign language so that they know basic sign language. Or they can also decide that we are going to employ sign language interpreters in most of the healthcare facilities so that at least when deaf people come, they'll be able to access quality healthcare. So language is very important and duty bearers need to understand.
I think that employers need to be educated on every level about mental health, because sometimes they just I think I was fired because it's like it wasn't good for the brand. Like, you can't have someone with a mental health condition working at this esteemed, prestigious place. But I know that if I had told my boss that I have diabetes, I don't think I would have been fired, or I have hypertension. No, they'll rather empathize with me, make sure I'm taking my medication, be there for me and all of that. But because I said I have bipolar disorder, and even the school counselor claimed that because I have bipolar disorder, I'm not supposed to be working with children. I should go home. I'm not even supposed to even be working with anything that has to deal with other human beings. So I think it's high time that employers, and it can happen anywhere. Sometimes I went to Accra Psychiatric some years ago. I was stigmatized by like a worker there. I didn't even have to tell her that I have a mental health condition. How she treated me alone made me feel so worthless. So it can happen anyway. Don't think that because we are all in the mental health community, people in the mental health community have awareness about mental health conditions. No, there are even people in the community, mental health professionals, who still stigmatize against people living with mental health conditions. So I think the education needs to be done consistently.
I mean, what are we trying to say? So the people who are mentally ill is because of their evil. And that is why we preach in our movies, in Nigerian and Ghanaian movies, African movies. Bad people are those who finally, at the end, become mentally ill and they die. I mean, and that is not something that we should be accepting. There's one big thing that we've all glossed over. As at now, we won't train you in healthcare profession if you are disabled. Yes. Has anybody seen a nurse disabled or a doctor disabled in Ghana? I mean, we were told in medical school it's not done until I went to Italy. I saw two medical students who came for dinner with them, and they were both disabled. They could not, walk. They were physically disabled. And we don't train any disabled in Ghana. Meanwhile, there was a Gambian who came for postgraduate medical training in Ghana who was disabled in a wheelchair. We train others, but not our own. If you have disability, we don't train you in healthcare. And these are the people who can advocate for them. So if we don't train them to become healthcare professionals, how do we, get the advocacy?
Because sometimes when you are fired from your job, you don't have a source of income, you are crying, you are lonely, you are hurting, and then you can't do anything about it. Sometimes I wonder, when you fire someone, do you realize that the money that they were getting from their job, that's what they were using to buy their medicine? So why would you do that? So I think I will not even take, I don't like government level things. Let's start from the bottom. Yes, the family, let's start from the bottom. When we do that, it will definitely get to the top. So that's my...
We have to treat people with disability, especially mental health, fairly. Because mind you, it can come to anybody at any given time. If somebody, mind you, the person who is disabled or is mentally not sound was like before, was like you. He was normal before, he or she was normal before it got to that point. Maybe if we accept them and we treat them like normal people, through that they can come back to normalcy.
Equal. We are all facing mental health. We should talk to people, like as much as people you can, so that you can, if there's any support they can give you, they can. Because we are all facing it. You can't say because you are not mad or you've not taken off your clothes doesn't mean you are okay or everything is okay. We are all not okay. Percentage we are all facing mental health. In fact, we are facing some challenges. So I believe we have to talk to people, seek for advice, seek for counseling. Then let's help each other work one way or the other. Thank you very much.
People with mental issues should be treated not equally like those who are having like stable mind, but should be taken proper care of. Like if the person is having mental issue and the person is working in an environment like this, there might be definitely some issues that he or she might not be agreeing with the other colleagues. And those who are also, those whose mental health is out of hand, they should give them a proper home. They shouldn't leave them on the streets for them to harm other people. So that is what basically I think. And those with disability, I think they should be treated like other human beings, because they are also human beings, just that some part of their body is disabled, and they should be given equal opportunity like others.
How we should treat such people is there is a condition that they found themselves in. And first of all, if you are aware of it, fine. But if you are not aware of it, you need to draw that person close and talk to him about the situation that he found his or herself in. If the person is aware of the situation that he or she is in, then you need to also encourage him and take her to him or her to a place where he or she can be treated. And because our system is in such a way that we don't have such hospitals like available for them to be used, or people doesn't get like access to those things, so it makes the people like they don't need to even check those kind of things.
You know, the world has set out and the day to commemorate mental health and issues around it. And it is the singular day the world has been asked to focus attention on mental health issues. So to inform individuals, groups and societies about mental health and mental health conditions. To educate people on mental health issues, to improve their literacy and appreciation of mental health issues, and to communicate evidence of good practices, innovations that can address mental health conditions effectively, that can help people appreciate that mental health is not just a medical issue, but it's a development issue worthy of attention if we want to see holistic development in society and in particular among individuals.
Powerful films, and I think they deserve a much wider audience than just here this morning, but across Ghana. I'm already planning to lobby our High Commissioner to make sure they get shown at our all-staff meeting to 200 people later this month. But I feel they should have a very wide audience. I think they're excellent, so very well done to everybody who's had any involvement in that. I think the big question for me now is how much of the job is done, okay? And I think we can measure our job in terms of the reach. You know, how many people have you reached with these projects? About the depth, about the quality of understanding that people have as a result of these videos and the work that you've done. And then also around the endurance, how long and how profoundly embedded are these changes in attitudes going to last within our society? So reach, depth, endurance. Can you tick all of those three? I think there's still a long way to go. But what you've